Okay, so we're going to do hooks and eyes on our grosgrain. This is one that I prepared earlier, and it's a little bit, maybe a little bit hard to see, but the idea is that this the eye here goes along with the fold of the grosgrain, and then you leave at least 3 centimeters behind that. I was thinking that you could be able to turn a centimeter under, but now that I've stitched it, because this needs to be sewn with the foot, you might only be able to turn under like half a centimeter so that you can still get the foot like next to the eye here. So this is the hook here. So this is the hook, and on the other side you'll have an eye, which I'll sew onto another piece. So that clicks in, and then you've got that security there. And these ones are a little bit bigger than the usual ones you'd find on a dress, but because we're working with the grosgrain, I just thought it'd be a nice finish to have something a little bit bigger. And on each piece too, because of the width of the grosgrain, I thought it was a good idea to do two hooks and eyes rather than just one in the middle to make it a bit more secure. So I've got my thread here, needle and thread. I've got quite a fine needle here, and I've just threaded, so there's two, like one thread, but then folded in half, and then a knot. I put 2 knots in the end there just to secure the end. And what I did earlier is I actually put a pin in here. So I had a pin in at the 3 centimeter line to show where I had to line the hook up with. So I put that in there, and then that gave me the spot, so as a guide, so when it's folded, you know where to position this, and then you can open it back up again. So with the eye, I keep calling it an eye, with the hook next to the pin there, get it into position, and I'm just going to start on one side here. So just starting from the back, and don't get too close, because there's a little gap in there. If you get too close to that gap, the thread will just pull out. So we're literally just like from the back, not on the back, and then over, and you really only need to secure this. I mean, you can do a buttonhole stitch, which is quite nice, but this is enough security here. So we'll sort of do 3 or 4 stitches around, and just go slowly with the thread as well. What you don't want is for it to knot up, because that can be sometimes when it with the thread, if you pull it too hard or pull it too fast, it goes into a knot, and then you can't get the knot undone, and you have to snip and then start again. So I go from the middle and then just over the top here, and just keep it, like hold it in place as you go along. Try not to move it around too much or it'll end up in the wrong position. And then so I've done 3 here. You can do more if you need to, if you think that the grosgrain is going to be under a lot of pressure. But this middle one, so now I'm coming up through the middle, and I'm actually going over the top into the next section. So I've gone across that middle bar there, and I'll do 2 stitches across the bar there just to give it a bit of extra security. And then just these ones around here. And what's really important now, so I've done 3 stitches on each side here, but the important thing to do too, and what some people don't realise, is that you actually need, oops, there's a knot swept around the pin, is that if you leave it like this, this can actually flick back. You can see that's standing up like that. See, on the other one I've actually secured it through the little, there's this little lump here, so I've secured it through there as well. So now I'm just going to go over to that position. So get close to the side there, you can see where the needle's coming out. And on the back, it's literally just, there's just a longer stitch on the back there. And so when you come up that side, just hook it through so that it's actually securing the end of the hook. Ow. To secure that. And try and keep it taut as you go along. Obviously the looser your threads are, the looser the whole fastening is going to be. Okay, so you can see that I've got the thread through there, so it's all secured around about. Now I'll just go to the back here, and it's quite good with the grosgrain because it has the channels in it. I don't know if that's the right expression, but you know, it makes it a bit easier to get the needle in to give you something to grip onto. And then I just do 2 simple knots at the back just to secure that in place. So let's give it a little bit of a tug, and then you can just snip that off. And then when this folds back, it'll actually fold all the way back to here. This end will get turned under, and then just, I would machine stitch that. You could do it by hand, but you might as well just machine stitch it. You won't, because this is quite close to the edge. You could potentially stitch these edges together by hand as well, because you won't be able to get the machine that close. And you see on the outside, you just see the edges of the 2 hooks.